Hello, hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. So today I have like a tanky version of One Punch Titan for you. I saw some comments. Well, generally speaking, as I said before in previous videos, I wanted to do three versions of this build. One with like super crazy area. The second one that is going to be like comfortable for mapping without really, having to worry about dying. And the third one, which is going to be mission one-shot pinnacle bosses at highest difficulty level. This build, this video is going to be all about the comfy version with a shield. So let's jump into it. Let's jump right away because we have little time today. So the main benefit for going with a shield is that, of course, it's not too hard. It's actually quite easy to get about 75% block. Right now I have 74%, which is totally fine. Even if you're going to be sitting at like 70 or 65%, that's still going to be fine, right? So this is basically a version that will allow you to not worry too much about, generally speaking, like map modifiers and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you can do, for example, maps with like 2 damage mods, and I didn't really have any difficulties. Since I started playing with a shield setup, I don't think I died once. That could be not true. I might have died yesterday once doing the Citadel because I just got punched all of a sudden by I don't know what. But yeah, sometimes it just happens in Path of Exile, I guess. In Path of Exile 2 especially. But yeah, the main benefit is that it's going to be very comfy. The main, I would say, disadvantage is that, of course, you're doing less damage. But the thing is that with the damage that we were doing less damage is not really a problem, right? You're still doing enough damage to absolutely feel comfortable. And one good thing, which many of you will be really, really pleased about, is that on paper, this version is cheaper. Actually, much cheaper, because what you need to do basically for clearing is just a very cheap shield. I bought my shield for 10 exalt, literally. Because all I care about there is just like, block chance and life, and that's it, pretty much. On mine, I think, physical damage reduction also, which is okay. But you don't really need 2 weapons anymore, because your weapon, number 1, needs to be good, admittedly, so that, you do like some damage at least. But after that, your second weapon doesn't need to be that good because we're doing absurd damage to bosses anyway. So even if you're gonna have like your second weapon is going to be like a cheap one divine weapon or something like that, that's going to be totally fine because you'll be still one-shotting bosses. And for general gameplay, it's just not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form. So I mean, that's I guess budget-wise, this is actually cheaper than the version that I was talking about last time, I believe. So I mean, that's definitely going to be good for some people. And as I mentioned, when it comes to negatives, there is also one obvious negative, which is we have less area. I tried to optimize the tree for this version as much as possible. I think it ended up being good. I'm going to show you after the map showcase. I don't know exactly where I could improve it even further. That being said, if you're going to notice something where I could make it even better, then feel free to let me know in the comments, because maybe I missed something or something like that. You know what? I'm just going to clear this map, and then I'm not going to open up this breach because more or less you see how the progression looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this map. I'm going to open up this breach later. Because on top of that, the fact that I have very little time today, and on top of that, we have a trade. So actually, it's a 5 divine trade. I mean, of course, I could edit the video, but you know me, I prefer to, if possible, to do my videos in one take. So that's how it looks like. Of course, the area, one of the con of doing this is the area is a little bit smaller than before. But you can do something, which I'm doing right now, to mitigate that. And I'm going to show you later. But the single target looks exactly the same as before. By the way, this perfect strike, I think I'm going to drop that completely from this build because I just stopped using it. So if you want to, you can, for example, one-shot bosses with Rolling Slam instead of Leap Slam. That's going to be totally fine. And the bosses look like this, right? Boom. Okay, I missed my curse because he moved, but that's fine. I used the War Cry, and boom, right? I don't know why the second leap did very little, but doesn't matter. Generally speaking, one leap is enough to kill almost any boss in the game. Very occasionally, you're gonna have like a giga tanky boss. You will need 2 leaps. That's with my weapons, of course. Even if you have much worse weapons and you'll have to leap 2 or 3 times, that doesn't freaking matter, right? That doesn't really matter. First of all, that's with Leap Slam, which doesn't have amazing attack damage multiplier. It would definitely be way more if you had something like Rolling Slam instead. With Rolling Slam, I guarantee with the current setup, you will one-shot every boss in the game, period, including Citadel bosses. Now, what are the differences that I did? So, first of all, obviously, I changed the pathing a little bit, and we invested into this block cluster and this block cluster. That is the shield that I'm using. So with literally like a 10 exalt shield, because the only thing, realistically speaking, that it has is block chance, life, and additional physical damage reduction. The remaining 3 stats are basically irrelevant. Of course, you could get better than that with more block corruption, and also you could get the one that gives you more life and strength, which is, you know, at this point up to, if you want to spend a divine to get actually good shield, then feel free to do so, right? Oh, excuse me. And the most important stat here is block, though, because the more block, the easier it is going to be to cap the block very quickly. So what I'm doing basically is I invested into this cluster and I invested into this cluster at the same time, which is great. Not only that gives us 74% block chance, so basically we're capped, but also we allocated both offensive stance and lay siege, which is going to be in total 148% increased damage. So that definitely, you know, it doesn't mitigate fully how much we lost, of course. You saw the map, right? They still die, and that was a map with like one tank modifier. They had, like, I think 25% of extra maximum energy, of extra life as maximum energy shield. So they're technically tankier on this map, and they were still dying fast. So these 2 modifiers will make up a little bit for the damage loss, but of course the damage is still much lower. But another thing you can do, since we're wearing shield, is that I decided to drop Mysterious Lineage, and instead I invested into Ancestral Empowerment, and that is actually something that mitigates the loss of damage and area quite nicely. Of course, if you don't want to, if you want even more tankiness, you can go back to this, and boom, we're sitting at 4.6k life. I bet with better equipment, because, you know, some of my equipment is not great. For example, this one Divine Amulet. You could get to 5,000 if you wanted. 5,000 with actually really good gear is no problem, by the way. No problem with a shield. You can get 5,000 for sure. But I felt like this was not needed because the 74% block chance actually adds a lot of extra defense. So I decided to go for this instead and actually have extra area. Once again, it's very important for you to have Shockwave. That's the main difference between the Will Smith build, is that, of course, the build is, generally speaking, different in many places. But the thing is that Earthbreaker allows us to have very easily 100% chance for Aftershock. With these 2 supports and this one node over here, we have a 100% chance for Aftershock. That is absolutely crazy. That is crazy, by the way, because that basically allows us to do double damage with Leap Slam. It's even better, in my opinion, because once we leap, not only the Aftershock is bigger because we have Aftershocks allocated, so not only it's bigger, but also the monsters will keep coming towards you after they see you, after you leap into the screen, so they will immediately, instantly die from the Aftershock. So it cannot be understated how much even better than Will Smith this character is for clearing. Maybe I am exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it's like not like something crazy, but yeah, you get the idea, right? In my opinion, it feels with Aftershocks, it feels much better. And now, 2 things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, I put these 3 points in here for fun, just to test them out. I'll be honest, I don't see big of a difference. So, for example, these 3 points. I mean, I know I'm level 94, right? But these 3 points, or even you could even unallocate these points if you wanted, because I don't think that this 3% and stun threshold is going to be that great at this point. If you have Stone Charm, that will give you stun immunity. It's not even that needed anymore. So instead of these or something else, even sacrificing a little bit of damage like this, if you feel like your damage is good enough, you can invest into attack speed. The great thing about this build is that it has very, very easy access to attack speed. You can get these nodes over here. You can get these nodes over here. That's going to be 12, 16%, excuse me, 18% attack speed for 4 points. Absolutely fantastic if you want to get more attack speed. Also, if you prefer to have, instead of skill speed runes, if you prefer to have physical damage runes, greater iron runes in your weapons, you can do that, and instead of having skill speed, you can invest points into this attack speed. In most cases, I would say that this can actually increase your damage at the end of the day, and you know, depending if you want to use 2 weapons or 1 weapon. With 1 weapon, I think that this would, at the end of the day, increase your damage actually. But of course, you will have to invest enough points to make up this attack speed loss from the skill speed runes. Generally speaking, the build is very flexible because you can invest into attack speed if you want. You can keep, of course, this for stun threshold. You can do some other stuff. As I mentioned before, I sacrificed the area passive skills, passive whatever you want to call it, right? Passive nodes. In order to get the block. I don't think. Let me know in the comments if you found like a better way to do it. But in my opinion, like getting rid of this over here, this is not even like that great of a cluster. So you can generally speaking like completely drop it. But I don't think there is a way to get this cluster back without major sacrifices. Of course, you could still get this cluster back if you dropped all of this. That is like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points in total. So yeah, you could get all of this area back, and then I guess you could allocate a little bit of more blocks somewhere else. You would end up having probably around 60% block instead of 74, and on top of that, you would have also less damage, a little bit less. It's not that big of a difference, right? But you would get this area back. You can totally do that if you want to. 60% block is still going to be a big difference compared to 0 block. You will feel tankier. These bastards that shoot like those translucent projectiles in breaches, I swear these guys do 3 times more damage than any other white monster in this game. Block works perfectly fine into these guys because these projectiles can actually be blocked. So without block, these guys do absurd amount of damage. With block, they all of a sudden don't do really anything. So I mean that's great, great way to deal with those guys. And yeah, there is some other small changes that I did. I'm not going to talk about all of them because I'm going to give you guys the PoE and from this version. And one more thing, the Mobalytics guide is going to also be updated. There's going to be 2 versions now, one with 2 two-handed weapons and one which is going to be this version. One more thing I'm going to talk about is Megalomaniac. Megalomaniac Jewel. Where is it? It's over here. I got Megalomaniac with Cremation and Aftershocks. That allowed me to drop this Aftershocks over here. It's not a perfect one, but that allowed me to drop this Aftershocks and, you know, instead get it normally. And on top of that, I have Cremation over here, which is very nice. When it comes to Megalomaniacs, I think that generally speaking, Megalomaniac, even if it's not super insane, it's going to be better than a perfect rare jewel. That being said, that there is absolutely insane amount of nodes that you can. There is so many different good nodes. There is Cremation. There is like Exposed to Inferno. There is over here. There is Burn Away. There is so many different nodes that we can allocate and use. There is Coming Calamity. There's just so many more. You can even get something like this, like Overwhelm, right? Although I wouldn't recommend it because it reduces the attack speed. But there is many options that you can allocate if you want. You can find the right Megalomaniac for your build, and if you're gonna find something really nice, then you can use it. You should use it because Megalomaniac, generally speaking, is like the best thing you can get late game. But I got this one for very cheap for 3 divines, and if you're gonna find something similar with 2 good notables, then you should absolutely use it. Of course, there's other ones. One way to solve attack speed on this build completely is to get something like what was the thing? There was acceleration somewhere here that was giving you 10% skill speed and 3% attack speed. Even something like this is fine. There is another pretty nice node here that is fine. It's this one at 8% attack speed, reduced cost of skills. There is many one. You can just like check all of these notables and find something that is going to be good for this build and totally use it, right? Another decent one is Burning Strikes. It just goes on and on and on. It's like if you think that you're at the point where it's time to get something late game and get your late game improvements and get Megalomaniac, then you should go for it. But it's absolutely not mandatory. The same thing is absolutely not mandatory to get Prism of Belief with +3 to level of all Leap Slam skills. I'm surprised, genuinely surprised, that there was actually few people last video and also one disgusting person that accused me of buying them like freaking in bulk before the video and then releasing the video to sell them more expensive. I don't even know what's your head, bro, but I've never ever done such a thing. It's just I wanted to always want to share with the community something that I find, something that is going to be super good for my builds. I just want to share it, right? I'm not a super big content creator or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I started like what 5-6 months ago. When it comes to PoE 2, I'm very small still, and I didn't even expect that my builds will just like. I'll be honest, when it comes to Will Smith, when the weapons skyrocketed for like, you know, they're like 10 times more expensive, the similar weapons, I was shocked, and I'm shocked also now that the items for my builds like go up so fast, but there's nothing I can do about it. If I'm going to find an upgrade for the build, I'm going to buy an upgrade, then I'm going to share with you guys, and there's nothing I can do if the price of the item goes up, right? There's absolutely nothing I can do with it. That being said, I thank you very much for all the support and kind words, because it means a lot. So there's always going to be some lunatics that will, you know, say some weird stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, guys. There's no stream today. The stream is going to be tomorrow, and a longer one. So if you want to join, feel free to do so. The link is going to be down below in the description for my Twitch. So if you want to join, ask some questions, or just chill around, just you know, whatever, just stay, then feel free to do so. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.